Hi there, this is Sober Steve. My name is Steve Truesdell and I'm a recovering alcoholic, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Tonight, I thought I was going to do something a little bit different because I've been saying right along, if you have questions or comments or anything like that, to reach out to me, and I have had some questions posed to me through the email, and I thought I'd tackle these. So I'm calling it Sober Steve's Mailbag. But if you haven't checked out the channel before, just to give you a little quick summary, I'm a person that's been in recovery for 23 years. My drug of choice was alcohol, and I'm just kind of talking about my journey, what it was like to go into recovery, the decisions that I made to quit drinking. I visited some of my memories when I was actively drinking, and just hoping that that can help some people. And I'm very passionate about this disease and recovery, because not only in my own journey here, but I've just seen so many times in families and with friends, and where it causes so much turmoil and drama and problems. And I think it's one of the more misunderstood diseases out there. I think that it's I think people don't give it the weight that they should when talking about other diseases. I think there's just a lot of misunderstanding, and it's such a common issue and common problem to have, and it touches so many people. And so if we can get one or two people on the right track, even that that's going to change one or two relationships, one or two families. It's going to change somebody's life, and that's worth it. So anyway, I'm just gonna read off these emails. I just wrote them down on a scratch pad here, and this first question was phenomenal because it really hits home to me. This is one of the biggest struggles for me, so it's a great question. They ask how I deal with holidays, gatherings where people drink, work events where people are drinking. How do I handle those, and how do I maintain a positive attitude and maintain sobriety through those events? That's so difficult for me, and so that's why I'm glad that was posed. It's much easier today than it was in the beginning, but for me, this is still a hard one. And I think for many alcoholics, it is, because we're social people usually. And we're used to being the life of the party, or, just using also, alcohol is like liquid courage. If you're uncomfortable in social situations, using that to relax you. And it's just so, it's so accepted out there, where, parties, work functions. They brought up the work function. I go through this all the time, and, I'm in sales. And so, I've had occasions where I've had to take customers out, right? And that's one thing, but usually it's like team building events or work events, and people are drinking, and that's tough. Holidays, you're going to your in-laws, and maybe your in-laws don't know that you just quit drinking. Maybe you don't want them to know. I don't know. But these are super big challenges. For me, it's been a progression where now almost always I just tell the people I'm with that I'm a recovering alcoholic. It's usually a little awkward for a second, but then they just get it. They know. Sometimes it brings up a conversation like, hey, that's awesome. My dad's got, 3 years sobriety, or, my uncle's trying to quit, or, it just makes me feel better, because even though who cares, it always makes me uneasy that they're wondering, why isn't he drinking? Or so many times, and I think it might be because I just have this like alcohol glow around me, like people want me to drink with them, and so I just like them to know I can't. I choose not to, and I'm in recovery, and that's my story. And then usually we just move on. And I usually try to read the person, and I'll make a joke, that I'm not uptight, and I can still laugh and have fun or whatever. But I just like people to know. That's how I do it. I'm not saying that's the best way, but that's how I do it. With holidays, it's not really a big deal for me because I have a pretty small family, and they obviously know my story, and they don't, they're not huge drinkers anyway. So, they're having a glass of wine or whatever doesn't generally bother me because there's a comfort level. So that's that. But when there's strangers involved, in fact, I just, if you can see my red 5 head there, I just came back from a weekend with my girlfriend Marie's family. They had a family reunion on Lake Michigan on the west side of the state. And, because so much of her family lives out of state and stuff, they don't know me that well, some of them. And so I had a little bit of anxiety this weekend about it. And, talked to Marie about that. And it just depends on the person, and sometimes, like for me, if I might ask Marie, hey, do you mind just let them know up front, like my story or whatever? That way we don't have to talk about it. Or I'll tell, if it's my sister and her group or something. Sometimes I ask the people that care about me just to lay the groundwork. But I do this all the time. I give thought to it, and I don't like to be surprised, and I don't like to jump into these events without having that plan, because early on in my sobriety, there were times that it really, really caused me a problem. So, when you quit drinking, they say stay away from wet faces and wet places. And I agree with that to as much as you can, and, when you're drinking and if you have a circle of friends that you're always drinking with, it doesn't mean that those people can't be your friends anymore. But at least for a period, I don't recommend going out with them when they're drinking. I still have friends from my drinking days that I care a lot about and stuff. We don't hang out as much, but I think that happens, in life anyway as we get older. But, it's just the stay away from wet faces, wet places, and giving some thought on what that's going to do, how you're going to handle things, because if you go to the bar every Wednesday for trivia night, you got a group of friends there, and every Wednesday you're just getting drunk, and going to trivia night, and then you decide to go into recovery and you think, you know what, I'm not going to let this ruin my trivia night. I'm going to trivia night every Wednesday still. That's going to be tough. That's something I wouldn't recommend. And so those are kind of the sacrifices that you have to make sometimes, in my opinion, and especially early on in recovery. How important is trivia night? And especially the main aspect there is drinking. And, with holidays, people drink during the holidays, but there's another reason why we're gathering, right? I mean, we're all getting together to celebrate this holiday and get together as a family. So unless you have a very heavy drinking family, that isn't like the focus isn't like, hey, we're all here to get drunk and it happens to be Christmas. You know what I mean? But to me, trivia night is drinking with a group of people. That's a little bit different and more challenging. Work events is something that obviously usually you're not going to be able to get out of that. I mean, you're expected to be part of the team. And but the main thing with work, I would let my boss know, even if you don't want to let your team know, it just, I don't know. There are a lot of people that would say that's a bad idea. I don't agree with that. I've had so much success just being honest with people. I don't care, I don't care if they're president of the United States. I'm not embarrassed, I'm proud, and you should be too if you're deciding to quit drinking. Why should you be embarrassed that you have an addiction problem and you're trying to do something about it, And if I work for a boss and I tell them that I'm a recovering alcoholic and I just want them to be aware this is why I'm not drinking in these things, and sometimes it makes me a little uneasy, but I've kind of mastered this, and I appreciate them inviting me and I'm going to attend. And if they don't respect that, then I'm working for the wrong boss. I mean, that's the bottom line, Hey, right now there's a gazillion jobs out there. So that's not, being a person and everything, just for me, always comes above. I don't care what your career you're in, who you work for, what you do. This is life and death stuff, So, and not to be over dramatic, but it really is. I mean, this addiction kills people, and it just causes havoc. So, I bounce around a lot when I do this, and I'm sorry because I don't really, this is the most prepared I've ever been. I have 4 notes on here, but I just, speaking from my experiences. So hopefully that addresses that question a little bit. Early on, one more thing on this. Early on, if your family really loves you and wants you to succeed, if maybe they don't drink this holiday. It's what I would hope my family would decide to do. Hey, let's take this holiday and not drink. Rusty or whoever is trying to get clean. Let's not drink this holiday. So hopefully that happens, but in many cases it's not going to. And so if you're in a situation and everybody's drinking and you don't feel right, get the hell out of there. That's my advice. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your parents, your grandparents, your Aunt Betsy, that Christmas means everything to her. It doesn't matter, because your sobriety and your health and your life is more important than their feelings. I'll take that to my grave. If anyone doesn't agree with me, so be it. Hopefully that helped. If you have more questions on that, if you watch this, reach out to me. All right, we can talk about this I'll cover it again. I mean, this is just huge. So another question that was posed was, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but it says, people look to you for guidance on how to live and stay sober. Is that a pressure or a comfort? First of all, like I say, I appreciate that. I don't know that that's true. I think that there are some people that will listen to my story and just kind of relate to it, with regards to their addiction and stuff. But somebody relying on me for guidance on how to live and stay sober, it doesn't make me, I appreciate it, but it doesn't really make me feel pressure or comfort. I appreciate it, not pressure at all, because I'm human. If I'm doing these videos and all of a sudden I have a relapse and I haven't drank in 23 years, yeah, that sucks. And you know what? You can say, well, that guy didn't know what he was talking about, but I do know what I'm talking about, because I had 23 years sobriety. And if I go into a relapse, guess what else that shows? It shows that you can never let your guard down in this disease. Never. It doesn't matter. I've known people that have been sober 20 years and got drunk and went back out. It could happen to me for sure. And so that's the whole point of this disease. So if it happens, what I hope I would do is get right back into it. I would go to a meeting. I would go to a counselor. I would turn on this camera and I would do another video and say, you know what, guys, I screwed up, and here's where I let my guard down, and the disease got me, and I'm not going to let it beat me. I'm going to go right back at it. So that's how I feel about it. It's alcoholism, and it's a lifetime thing. So awesome question though. Awesome. And then these two right here are really good. The last time I wanted to drink. That's an easy answer for me. Yesterday. Really bad, because we're at the beach. You know what I mean? It's Lake Michigan, beautiful sunny day. A couple of times, it's weird, as I used to drink beer primarily, especially the last 5-6 years of my drinking, but I didn't want beer. I would have loved like a gin and tonic or something with like a lime, a little bamboo umbrella. I'm getting all that going in my head, but I didn't seriously consider having a drink, but I wanted one. Like it crossed my mind. I'm like, wow, I wish I could have, a couple dozen of those gin and tonics. That'd be nice. And then I just kind of laugh at myself, and then I start thinking about something else. So the answer to that is yesterday. And if you're wondering how frequent it is, I'd say, wild ass guess, just thinking in my life, probably once a month. These days, I might think, oh, I'd like a drink. In the beginning, it was every hour, every day. But now, once a month, a couple times a month, I think about it, where I really want one. And then it says, when's the last time you seriously considered it? Seriously, considered to go and get a drink. That one I thought about, and I have to be honest, I don't remember. I've been through some things too, some are too personal that I don't even want to talk about on this recording, but it just like life tragedies, like my mom dying and getting a divorce and things like that. I never seriously considered drinking, and in fact, and I know she's watched some of these, and she didn't mean anything by it, but when we were I think she meant it in good, conscience. But when I was getting divorced, I remember my ex-wife said, you're not going to drink, are you? And it kind of pissed me off because I'm like, no, I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to let divorce like ruin everything that I've worked to build myself up. And I didn't even, no, I never considered it during my divorce. And when my mom died, maybe, maybe there, but, then I looked at my son and no, like, people rely on me. So it isn't just about me, even though I always preach being selfish in your recovery. I don't want to do that to people that rely on me and love me. Because, I'm one drink away from being a freaking disaster. And that's not an exaggeration, man. I promise you, if I went out and started drinking, it wouldn't be a pretty situation. And, I think I mentioned this before, but I've read that it's like, when you're deep into your disease, your tolerance is very heavy. So, you can drink, I've even known a petite 5'2", 130-pound lady I met at AA before. I used to drink like 9 martinis, but it's like your tolerance gets so built up. So I was drinking 12 to 15 beers a night. Like, that's no exaggeration. And right now, if I went out and I cracked a beer and I slammed a beer, I'd probably get buzzed. And I wouldn't be surprised if I got drunk off like 3 or 4 of them. But within a week, if I kept doing that, I'd be right back to 12 or 15. And then it would escalate. Like, they've done studies on this and stuff. So it's like your tolerance, you go right back. And then the disease progresses, You can't go back. I can't go back to how I was when I first started drinking, where, I'm having 4 and I just feel a little buzzy and it was a great night and then I'm done. And, for me, I guess that didn't happen very much at all, but I know for others it has. I pretty much pounded them from the very beginning as much as I can. Okay, so I addressed those 2 questions. And then, here's the last one. Do you ever doubt yourself with regards to my sobriety? No. I used to sometimes. Do I ever doubt myself in life? Oh, hell yeah. I do that every day in some regard, because I do my inventory and, I always wonder, did I say the right thing? Did I do this right? I do it at work all the time. Even though I'm just an average schmo, like I want to succeed. I want to do really well at my job. I want to do really well at my relationships. I want to do well anything I do, and the reality is, I'm not great at anything. I'm really not. I'm a good person, so for 23 years I've been great at staying sober. But I'm a good sales rep. I'm a really good sales rep. I'm usually the jobs I've had, I've been in the top, 10, 20%. But I have a lot of experience at it. I also, had to close down 2 businesses. I failed, I failed miserably. And, I'm 5'7", 190 pounds. I'm no quick on my feet athlete or anything like that, but I love playing sports and I compete. And I'm just saying, like, I think we're all, and I'm a good boyfriend. I think I was a good husband. I'm a good dad. I'm a good son. I'm a good brother, but I'm not perfect. I'm not great. And the only reason I'm saying these things is I think we all do that. I think we all expect perfection out of ourselves. And, we're all born with this mold of clay and, you just do the best we can do. And, some of us are in different places in life and recognize and realize things that it takes some of us longer. And, so I think my whole life I'll doubt myself in a way, but I also believe in myself and I care and care about myself and love myself. But I doubt myself. Do I doubt it in sobriety though? Not really. I feel like, I have a good handle on that. But as I said, I could have a relapse any day. I understand that. And the day that I don't think that's possible, then I feel like I should doubt myself. But I keep doing the same things, I stay away from the wet places and the wet faces the best that I can, to kind of tie this to the first one. And I tell people about my problem and I talk about it and I don't hide it and I don't pretend it doesn't exist, because it does, and once you know it exists, I think until you come to grips with it and can actually just talk about it, that it exists, and then put a plan together and tackle it and face it. That's, you're not really gonna be able to make progress until you can do those things. And I hope, pray that anybody that watches this that needs help will get it. And I say it every time, but you're never going to regret it. And life in sobriety is amazing. And this is a guy that 23 years ago would have told you, that guy would have told this guy, you're full of crap. And I didn't think that you could have a really fun time being sober. I didn't think you could get through really horrible, stressful things being sober, and I'm going to do, September 11th is going to be my next field trip, because I mentioned before, I mean, obviously you see this stuff, but like one of my biggest passions is Michigan football and basketball. I'm a season ticket holder to both sports and been going since I was a little kid. And, I'm not a bandwagon person. When Michigan struggles, I don't get all bent on, it's like, I love them. It's just like your kids. I love them, win, lose, whatever. And, I was so terrified in 1997 when I made the decision that I was going to quit drinking. And I believe when I actually quit was May 1st, 1998. But in 1997, near the end of the football season, Michigan played Ohio State, and I was extremely wasted. And it was one of the biggest games in Michigan football history. They were undefeated. They won the game against Ohio State, and they ended up winning a share of the national championship that year. And I was just on cloud nine, but I was so drunk. I can hardly, it's all a blur. Like I hardly remember it. And then in 98, I was terrified to go to those football games because I was so afraid that I wasn't going to be able to, number one, not drink. Number two, will I really be able to enjoy it? And let me tell you, I enjoy it 50 million times more than I used to when I drank. The first few years, I didn't tailgate ever. And I just walked, just go in the game. I'm here to watch football. And, now I tailgate some, and but I still tailor it to my thing, because I don't go to the main party tailgates where everybody's drunk the whole time. Like we have our small family one, and they'll all have a couple of drinks, but it's relaxed. I don't fret. Anyway, September 11th, my field trip is going to be the Michigan-Washington football game. I'm going to show you guys how I do it at the tailgate, and then show you a little glimpse of what those games are like. And I thought that'd be kind of fun. So I'm going to do that. And if you made it this far through this video, thank you, because I don't think I would have. I just get rambling on and on. But anyway, thanks for listening. If you watch this and you're curious about anything, please email me questions like these two people did, because I appreciate it. And I think if they're wondering those things, maybe somebody else is too. So my email address is soberstevechannel@gmail.com. And then you can also leave comments below. And as I always say, I appreciate it if you subscribe and like. It gets a video out to more people on YouTube. So I will be back next week with something. I don't know what. And I hope everybody has a great week. Thanks again for checking out my channel.